negative. If you decide to be a negative actor in history, and especially in this current event, well and good. That's your cup of tea. Go ahead, friend. Go ahead. But let me let you know that God has put his finger upon Ambazonia, and this 50th year of Jubilee, Ambazonia has been set free. Did you hear me? Ambazonia has been set free. No matter the coup plotters, no matter the groups that have come out and they have fought this interim government, as you heard yesterday, the 19th, the president enumerated the fighting that has been fought, not by La Republique, but people who claim that they are Ambazonians. And before I drop the microphone and get out of these studios, I want to still tell our restoration fighters on home front, you are doing a great job, big job. And the interim government is out to support you for your job that you are doing. But guess what? There is a devil that has arisen to make sure that you are all killed. Let me tell you how. When Satan discovered that he cannot beat them, the English saying, or the adage says that if you cannot beat them, join them. And so they joined the revolution. They joined the struggle, but with ulterior motives. Fighters on the ground, many of them have called you, proposed you money, told you stories. Of course, your predecessors, many of them who did not want to hear directives from God through the interim government. You are hearing me now. Where are they? They are gone. And when we want to tell you what you're supposed to know, you say, nobody can control me. And then you go over to the camp where they tell you that, oh, we have taken an oath, nobody will harm another person, will not point our guns at you. But they go and tell the bee, who was not in that particular meeting, that when you come, we have taken a decision to work with La Republique, but this and this and this is in our midst. They are still following after the instructions of the interim government. Finish with them. And that's why they have been killing our people, picking them out one by one. Valiant men, men of war, men that are warriors, men that can stand and face the bullets of darkness. But you, yes, I mean you, who has come in with lies in your mouth, telling people to resign, to unite. Meanwhile, you have laid ambush, not with them that have sworn and taken blood oath or whatever kind of oath, but the other person that you will go and instigate. Ambazonians, if you are standing with the interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, remember there are people who have stolen the name of interim government and they are using it. And I will not fail to say it in any broadcast until that is corrected. Mr. Chris Anu is not the Secretary of State for Communications for the interim government. Please note that very well. He is not. When he is talking in the name of the interim government, is because they have stolen the name of the interim government in order to remain relevant, in order to deceive you. If you have ears to hear, you can hear what I am telling you. The name interim government has been stolen, and it is now being used by fake and false people who are talking things out of the plan that the interim government has for the people of Ambazonia. They are not taking us to Ambazonia. And then they also went ahead to say they have taken over the treasury. No, they came to steal money that most of them have not been contributing. 3/4 of them that are in that camp that they now claim relevance. Of course, the treasury has not been taken over by them. They have hacked a number of things, as already, a fake will always do. They have hacked a number of things from the interim government and they are running with them. Now, you say interim government is not good. And then you go out from the interim government. Mr. and Mrs., please, could you just drop that name and get your own name like other people and other groups. And let's go to where we are going. Because if you are with us, you will not have gone out from us. And you will not have gone out stealing our name to use it for your extreme ends. But guess what? Lies will not suffice. The interim government, as the president, Dr. Sako, said yesterday, has survived a lot of things because they are standing, and he is standing on the truth. And the interim government is on the truth. But any other thing and any other person that comes up in the name, even in the name of the interim government, and say things, you say one thing today, tomorrow you change it. You say it against the other day, the next day you change it. And then people are still following. And some of these people are intelligentsials. Yes, some of these people are people who have gone to school. Sometimes I use a language which many people feel otherwise. I say they are intellectual dishonest people, or intellectually dishonest. And sometimes I say that these are educated illiterates. Why do I say make such things or say such use such language? Because it's just common sense for you to listen to somebody today who is consistent, and tomorrow you listen to the same person, what he said yesterday, he has cancelled it. If somebody as unstable as water, do you think he can stand? Of course not. And you who is following, guess what? You'll be the culprit tomorrow. You'll be the victim because he knows his way. Yes, Koniman die, Koniman bury him. But you who is just following Koniman, following, Koniman will give way, and then you fall into the choco. And that's what interim government is warning you, especially those of you who say you are on home front and that you are restoration fighters. Yes, that you are restoration fighters. I agree with you. But whom are you listening to? You listen to everybody and anybody. Most of your chairmen that are not standing with this local government, I mean with the interim government, and they're telling you other stories, go and find out. I mean, you, the fighters, go and find out. The money you are shouting that Sako chop the money, Sako chop the money. They are the ones who chop the money. They are the ones. And that's why they have gone out to form a kind of synchronize themselves to deceive you more. Of course, nobody is giving the money again, apart from the few people with whom they had the booty to share the money. Those are the people that are still following them. I say I should not tell you. No, Master, I should tell you so that you will know and be able to take a decision. Yes, you know and be able to take a decision so that at least you can save yourself. Many of them have deceived you into death. Oh, go ahead, we're behind you. Then you go and tell Atanganji boys and tell the B that this guy is really fighting and killing you, so finish with him. That is why we have so many of our real fighters who end up dead. I'm saying it to those of you who are alive. I've asked you a very simple question. Some of the violent men, where is no pity? Where is Oliver Leke? Where are they fighting now? Because they were deceived to believe that the interim government has a problem. And before Oliver finally left, he still received money from the interim government. Can you imagine? And now we have all kinds of people, when you stand to tell the truth of what is going on, they tell you you are a surrogate to intimidate, frighten, and make you not to tell the truth. But as a historian, I think we must be consistent with our history. As I told you at the beginning, this is not the beginning, and of course, it's not the end. It has happened, and it is happening, and it will happen. As long as humans are still here in this world, and as long as the devil is still going around looking for whom to devour, definitely people will fall choco. But many people fall choco because they do not know. That's why the history book I'm reading tells me my people perish for lack of knowledge, knowledge of the truth, knowledge of what they have to know. And we have seen it, and we are seeing it, and it's still happening. Ambazonians, remember the adage that says that the first fool is not a fool. But when you are deceived the second time, you are gone. And I've also heard people say that if you are a fool at 40, you'll be a fool until you go to your grave. So you young men who have nothing to contribute, but only to come in a forum like this and heap your insults, I want to let you know that you have many, many new clothes. But some of us old men, like Pandangam, myself, Pandangam is my senior historian. Very soon I'll be coming around again to analyze a number of things that he did mention so that we can get it again from this breakdown. Pandangam, I dab my cap for you. You lived and you were in the middle of it. I just grew up as a small boy running around, seeing and hearing some of the things. But when my eyes got open, I discovered that the person that would have played a great role in bringing and making peace to stay, that person should and must have been the church. Now, when I mention church, a lot of people look up. Church is not that denomination I tell you and I tell you again. Yes, the devil came in, like I said in one of my programs on church and politics. I'm going to come back and repeat it so that people can hear and understand. The devil went to church. And when the devil went to church, of course, his business is to corrupt. His business is to destroy. When he went to church, he entered the church and destroyed everybody. That's why I warn women who take their children who are dragging their legs, as the Bible says that foolishness is found in the heart of the child. As these children are dragging their legs, the woman or the mother will say, "Pass here, Satan." You call your child Satan, and you are taking Satan to church. And that's why there's confusion. Because whatever name Adam called them, that was the name thereof. So, Ambazonians, it is high time we arise and look at the positivity of what God has said concerning us. There are a lot of negative things out there because the people who are saying those negative things and fighting the interim government and not fighting the enemy are of their father, the devil. And the devil is always a usurper and a person that brings division. When you allow the devil in your heart, even if you have the same goal and the same mind, and you allow the devil to visit you, either in your office, in your room, in your house, wherever, your language will change. That's why the interim government makes sure that the people who are with the interim government obey the instruments of the interim government during this struggle period. And we have a constitution, which is an interim constitution just to execute this war. I don't know, but the person who orchestrated the writing of the constitution, or the group of persons who wrote the constitution, they stated it very clearly that interim government will hand over when they get to Boya. Well, that has been a big talk and a quarrel. But some few Ambazonians that I actually doubt their authentic nationality as Ambazonians complete, they may be mixed blood. They got up one morning and decided to be drunk with the little positions that they had in the interim government institutions, like the defunct RC, the man whom they say chair. I do not know what contribution he actually was bringing, apart from confusion. Confused the whole place and said things that were not in line with the articles of the Constitution. That one is history. It's long past. Now, in ASS2 in Washington, D.C., another history, which was current event, was made. And today, we see the instruments of the government moving on. But I'm afraid, let me tell you, in a settled government, we are settled in the spirit, but not settled physically. But in a settled government, there are rules and regulations that must be obeyed. And in an interim government like this, there are rules and regulations that must be obeyed. And La République has taught a number of us, especially those who are practical coup plotters, from the past coups that they have planned against the interim government. If this man at the helm of the government was not a servant of God for the people of Ambazonia, I think we would have called it quits, because Satan infiltrated. And one of them actually told me that he is the one who planned the coup. Get me his name. And when I called him and asked him, he said, yes, I did that. Of course, as a historian, not wanting to talk negative history, I didn't go ahead to question him, but I just concluded, when you are a servant of the devil, you will do everything to make sure that you sabotage what God is doing. But guess what? Ambazonians, we are pushing ahead. God is in this business, and only the truth of God will be established. Yes, it is the truth of God that will be established. I know of people who wrestle with the truth, who fight with the truth, but they think that their lies will have longevity. No, every lie has an expiring date, and so many of the lies have expired. I remember in the quest for our struggle, one young man, dynamic young man, I think in early 2019, and at the dawn of 2020, all that he was saying in 2019 turned out to be another story. He made a lot of allegations, which were all false, fake. I will never forget, in my historical rendering, to mention a man like Dr. Tita Emmanuel, who accepted to be the president of the Njangi House that has stolen the name of interim government. When he got in there, he asked for the articles of justification physically, like what you are accusing this interim government, especially the man at the helm. Can I see the evidences? Because all that was going on in social media was fake, 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 fake. Nothing authentic. They didn't show him. And a man of conscience, he said, then I'm sorry. If this is what you can grab because, Google is there, you can go ahead and print anything and say anything and it will look like real. But unfortunately, it's not real. So, Ambazonians, what I'm saying is that our quest to become a nation has been granted by God Almighty. And because God Almighty has granted our request, He now wants us to arise, just like the people of Israel arose and did what? And went straight ahead to carry out the program that God had given to them. And at the end of the day, it was very clear, very, very clear that they were going to their homeland. And they went. Now, God has given us a roadmap for the struggle of Ambazonia. That if you get into what we call the grace of God, which is the 5th number, we discover that from the days of Endele right up till now, those who have taken leadership in the Ambazonian quest after they were deflected, removed brutally by the genocidal terrorist government of La Republique. This is the 5th president of the nation of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Sarko Ekome, the 5th president. And if anything is above grace, then we are finished. So the grace, according to the constitution of our land, was that he is handing over, as long as he is alive, he's handing over when he gets to Boya. That was what Ayub Tabe was to do. But unfortunately, we hear stories of so many things that are coming up that are negative to some coup plotters, and they're still shouting and making noise. My dear friend, if you convince me of a thing that I have said that is wrong, sincerely speaking, in my next broadcast, I will apologize. Because can I make error? Yes, it is very possible to make errors. Yes. But then I will make an error if I hear only from one side. I have been trying to make sure that I put 2 and 3 together before I come out. Remember, in our history, I was not used to calling names of negative people. No. But I went back, like I told you, and I discovered that the maker of history, who is the father of all, wrote it down that we should be very clean and clear in the way we are making our history. I mentioned David, who was honored, but David, who was disgraced. I mentioned Manasseh, who was wicked, and Manasseh, who again came up and followed the God. I mentioned King Saul, the first ever king of Israel, and so on and so forth. I mentioned all these people from the history book that I'm reading. And I mentioned that there was a betrayal. If you go into the book of the Kings, you will see so many betrayals that took place. But God went with those who practiced justice. I remember the son of Manasseh. He ruled only for 2 years. And he was, I think, 24 years old or 34. And he was killed by the members of his own house because of the wickedness that was going on there. And so wickedness brings sorrow. Fellow restoration fighters, to keep your life and enter into our independence, run away from militia groups, run away from warlords, except you go in there and play your hanky-panky with them. But if you are sincere, taking down the installations of La Republique in our community, these very people who are pretentiously saying that they are working with you and fighting with you, they will gun you down. That's why I hear a number of things. I'll just say this here in passing, but I don't think it's authentic. I've heard a number of things that they are talking about Gabonese whom we asked to go and lie down quiet. You must not. There are times that Jesus told his disciples, come apart and rest. There is a time to rest. When you are doing the right thing and people want you to do the fake, they will give you money, threaten you, and so on. I don't know what is happening with him. But then I want to say that our history, now called current events, is in the making. And I have heard a number of people that, particularly Ntanke, has come up and said that this man must die. And I'm wondering, how is he going to die? Why is he going to die? Now, 2 years ago, I got up one morning and I saw a video of this particular criminal who said, at that time, we had a field marshal in Lebialem. He said he must die. He said, I'm eating this corn to celebrate his death. He's eating corn and granite. When I heard it, sincerely speaking, I decided and I told the Ambazonian people, those who are in the cabinet called spiritual cabinet, I say, we will not allow this demon to go ahead. They had just killed Chacha. And with this threat, I say, we will not allow this criminal with his gang of ADF to go ahead and cause another havoc on this formal FM. I will start the prayers. And I want to tell you that that prayers has been going on till tomorrow. We are still in prayers for other generals and FMs. But the thing is this, you can pray till heaven comes. If that individual or the individuals do not take to what God has said, no matter how much of your prayers, they will still die. They will still go. Am I saying that people will not die? No, everybody's going to die. But you don't die before the time that you're supposed to die. So I'm simply saying that we started interceding for this young man, and the other one who eventually jumped out, no pity man, he jumped out too, and we're just getting shadows. I've been told social media, which is not very sometimes authentic to me, and that's why I don't very much shout what I see and hear in the social media, that a number of young men who were fighting with no pity are no more. They have been killed. They have died. Possibly not by him, but by the people he has joined hands with. Because if you have a friend, tell me the friend of that your friend, and I will tell you where you are heading to. When we see, and it has been so clear, that ADF, Ambazonian Destroying Forces, has a name to destroy Ambazonians over the years, we have not actually known where they have fought. But whenever there is victory by the Ambazonian Restoration Forces, they claim that they are the ones. They have guns, they have few people, but these few people are actually collaborating with La Republique. They are the proxy of La Republique. Everybody that is sincere, as far as this, our quest is concerned, knows that. So you don't need me to tell you I knew. No. Anybody who already has been following actually knows that this is what is going on for years. And so the average Ambazonian now knows where the AG of O, whatever name they call themselves, where they stand. So when they are talking about Ambazonians, many people don't reckon any relationship to him because they already know where he's standing. I do not know whether it is a demonic force that entices people, send them to such demonic places where they go and carry out spiritual operation and destroy people. I don't know. Whether it is just the sweet talk and the poisoned money, because I remember when I was growing up, back at home at that time, there used to be some Hausa guys that will give you some small grass. When you chew the grass, whatever thing you say, people will obey you and follow. And then there was another one that when you handle it and cause some people to fight, they will start fighting. Those are people who are spiritually weak, because I told you spirituality has two faces, the negative and the positive. You are either for the devil or you are for God. And if you are for God, definitely, if you are for God, definitely, you follow God. But if you are not for God and the devil is behind you, my dear friend, it doesn't matter how much you try, you are gone. Because life is not only physical, life is spiritual. And it starts in the spirit before it manifests in the physical. And that's why the Ambazonian quest was handed over to him, who has the power to make sure that life that is in the spiritual is handled by him. And of course, life that is in the physical should be handled by those who fear him and those who are called by him. I have said it in church and politics that as far as God is concerned, no unbeliever has a right to lead God's people. I repeat, no unbeliever has the right to lead God's people. Why? Because when God created the world, he handed over this world to Adam and Eve, and at that time, Adam and Eve were sinless. They had not committed sin. So God handed over the land to them. Now, when they sinned, what happened? God drove them out of the garden. God drove them out of the garden. And when God drove them out of the garden, now God decided that they were going to come back. What did he do? He sent Jesus Christ, who came, gave his life, and brought us light. And that's why you say, you are the light of the world. You should shine in the public, shine in the darkness, so that those who are in darkness should see the light and follow. Yesterday in his discourse, I remember the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, President Sako Samuel, he said, it is not just theory that we know. There's too much talk. It's not theory that we know who is going to where. It is action, because by their fruit we shall know them. I want to find out from you, madam, sir, what are the fruits that you are bearing? What are you doing? What is the thing that you are actually carrying out now for Ambazonians to know that you are for Ambazonia? Can you let us know exactly what you are doing, sir? Because if we know what you are doing for Ambazonia and not just this social media talk, we'll be able to put things in their perspective. But if you are only for social media that is built and propagated by lies. I hear somebody went on the social media and was saying that when they make elections some years ago, when Sisiko was taken, actually it was Chris Anu who won, and he decided to give over the leadership to Dr. Sako. Wonderful. Mr. Preacher, what the heck? Were you there? Have you found out? Or just the stories that you have been told? It's unfortunate that we can propagate such stories of which the people that were there and heard and saw what happened, they can tell it more than us. My dear brother, I want to plead with you. If you do not know, don't just jump in. Don't just jump in. Is that a true statement? Is that a true statement? I will tell you very frankly here, I've not only heard from Dr. Sako, I've heard from some other people. That is not true. That is a lie. And when you go out to propagate lies like that, we begin to wonder where we are going. Anyway, finally, I want to tell Ambazonians, we are moving on. This is Jubilee. And in Jubilee, all the old things have passed away. We forget the old things and we go for the new. I want to ask you, are you in for the new? If you are in for the new, let's follow God's leading and God's leadership in what we are about to do, what we are about to receive as far as our revolution is concerned. Let's go God's way. If we go God's way, we will be able to make it at the end. What is God's way? God's way is tell the truth and shame the devil. Don't tell the truth, don't tell lies because you have a group of people that you are following. Some people in this struggle have decided to follow friends. Some have decided to follow families. Some have decided to follow just, anybody who can talk well. But sincerely, sometimes the truth is bitter and sometimes it's not well spoken, but it is the truth. And those who follow it, in most cases, they are few and very few. but they follow. But those who tell lies, they have a lot of spectators, people who watch, people who look. A spectator is not a follower. I have said it time and time again. As a historian, a spectator is not a follower. How do you know followers? When you get up and announce a situation and you find the followers contributing. And the few that have been contributing to the quest of Ambazonia, they are right there. They are still contributing. And they are going ahead and still contributing. My dear friend, it is high time that you listen to the coherence of what is being said. If tomorrow I come in here and I contradict what I am saying today, then my history is having a care leg. My history is not right. But if I'm consistent, saying the same thing, and you realize that the same thing that I'm saying, I'm wrong somewhere, and you correct me, I will take it. Like I told you, I have come here to justify the reason why, in some cases, names must be mentioned. Names must be mentioned. Now, if I mention your name, and you go out there, you mention my name, like, a few months ago, I got an audio. This one, I heard it myself. I got an audio, and I'll mention the name right here and now, where Chris Anu said Dr. Sako came to Brazil and opened a bank account, and Komando is there. He can better tell us. When I heard that audio, I called him immediately. I called him. I didn't go to say it on a social media. I called him immediately. I said, Mister, I heard the audio you made, and this is the insinuation you said. Well, I am here to tell you to go back to your social media and tell the people that, yes, Dr. Sako came to Brazil. He never opened a bank account because I was with him every day, except he opened a bank account in the night because he was not sleeping in my house. Maybe he sneaked out in the night and opened a bank account. But if it's during the days that he was here, there is no bank account. So please, can you go back and make the corriginum? If I were the one truly speaking, I will go and correct it. I say, well, the speculations we said about this man and this and that, this is not true. He has confirmed that it's not true. Period. That is the truth we are talking about. That is the fight we are talking about. But when you try to hide it, and somebody tells me, don't call names, my dear friend, lies. If I don't call names, eventually it will be proven that is not true. I also heard that he bought a house in Brazil. See, oh my God, Satan is wicked and he is a devil. Can you hear me? I say Satan is wicked and Satan is a devil. Because if Satan is not wicked and if Satan is not a devil, how can you in the broad daylight tell such huge lies and everybody is listening to the lies that you are telling? So sometimes it's good for us to come out, debunk some of these things, tell you Ambazonians, not debunking so that you should, we just want to make you to know the truth and to stand by what is called the truth. But if you say you don't know what truth is, that's fine. If you want to remain where you are, that's okay. But don't remain there because you did not hear and because nobody told you. Like again, my people perish for lack of knowledge of what they're supposed to know, of which they don't know. And we have seen it happening in Ambazonia. Ladies and gentlemen, my time is up. And because my time is up, I have to go away right now. And I promise you that I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back and then tell you more about our history. But for today, don't go away. In a few minutes, the program, the conference will be coming up. And today is a very powerful day. This 20th May, a number of people will be talking sense and reality and truth to the Ambazonian people. Once again, thank you, Homefront. Thank you all over the world for watching and listening to our history of what is going on in Ambazonia. Once again, Home front fighters, watch out, jump out from the pot in which you are being cooked in your ignorance. God bless you. Don't say we did not tell you. Long live the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. God bless you.